Yo, what up guys, Beside here. This is a champion guide for Aox the Rememberer, a Lizardman faction champion who was hyped a lot when he first got into the game because he was kind of useful, but right now in 2023 Aox has fallen off, and I'll tell you why. I also want to highlight the places where you can actually use this champion and enjoy him for newer players who are just obtaining him and you're wondering whether you should build him or not. Aox the Rememberer is still extremely useful only in the early game. For end game players, you're thinking, should I build him or not? He will be only an faction war champion in the early game. That's unfortunate, but he might have some niche uses, especially because of this one of his ability that he can find very, very useful. That would be the A2, right? No, that's not it. The most useful skill he brings right here. This is the A3. That's the most useful skill he can bring to your team. Not just a decreased attack debuff on all the enemies for 2 turns. No, that's not all. He will also decrease their turn meter by 20%. That's not all. He will also place a decreased crit rate debuff on target for 2 turns if they have their turn meter above 50% after he tries to decrease it. So that's the thing that endgame players using the most for, because bosses in this game don't have a lot of crit rate. So if you can decrease a boss and crit rate with this debuff right here, that's one of the few champions that brought this debuff into the game. 30% decrease of their crit rate, 100% chance to land it, right? Places a 30% decrease crit rate. It just makes them hit less harder. You can survive their hits when you have decreased crit rate and decreased attack on that boss or on that enemy wave. So that's one of the skills that endgame players will appreciate him for, whether maybe for the Hydra, whether it's for one of these new bosses, for Sand Devil. Anywhere where you think the boss hits you so hard, this is for endgame players. Now, besides this skill, the rest of his skill is more of a general dungeon wave clear support skill. I built this champion in a special way. You'll see this video right now, but that's what he's best known for in the end game. Now, for newer players who don't have a reviver, a healer, or you just have an apothecary, you don't want to die during the wave. You want this skill to be out there to be placed so that the enemies will hit you less harder. On a 3-turn cooldown, that means this skill will be most likely available for you to place it again before the enemies try to nuke you down. So extremely useful skill right here to help you survive the big hits of the enemies, especially content like the Ice Golem, where he hits extremely hard if you don't kill his side art. Decrease attack, decrease crit rate will reduce the amount of damage you're taking. You think they're not hitting you that hard, or as if you have a shield. That's thanks to this decreased crit rate and decreased attack that he brings. All right, let's highlight some of his other skills right here. This is a heal. It's not based on his HP, so you don't have to build him with high HP. It's built on based on your enemy, your allies' HP. He will also heal them an extra 2.5% for each debuff the allies have on them. He's not going to cleanse the debuff from your allies. No, he'll just heal them additionally 2.5% for each debuff they have on them. Besides this is 10% heal that he already does. Now on the A1, which is an extremely useful skill, especially if you're new to raid and you're thinking which champion should you use in your clan boss. At that early stage, everybody you get is in your clan boss. He can add some damage to your clan boss and also help you place decreased attack that clan boss needs, because if you get hit harder if you don't have that. So this A1 is not just useless, it's useful against bosses especially that do take poison damage. Each hit has a 10% chance of placing 5% poison for 2 turns. It will also, remember, he hits 2 times, so it's possible that he will place 2 poisons right here if you're lucky. And you can increase these chances by putting books on this champion, which will increase it to a 30% chance of landing that poison. With help of Masteries, you can even make it a 35% chance of landing poison on this A1. Useful skill right there. So that's Aox the Rememberer. On his passive, increases duration of 2 random debuff on the target by 1 turn when attacked, occurs once per hit. So this is also another useful clan boss passive. When the clan boss hits him especially, he will most likely increase the duration of one of the clan boss and debuff. Whether you can increase the decreased attack that you have on the clan boss, you can increase the duration of your poisons that you have on the clan boss, or anything that the clan boss has on them in terms of debuff. Decrease defense, weaken anything. Very useful skill for the clan boss in the early game. That's why I built this champion in lifesteal. Yes, I went crazy this time around and built this champion in an old school set, because that's what I recommend most players who are coming into the game build Aox the Rememberer in. Don't think, oh, because there are new set available right now, you go put him in an amazing stone skin, put him in triple perception. There are options, but the best way to go in the early game if you're starting raid, lifesteal, especially the fact that this is a champion that needs to be doing a lot for your team, so you don't need him going down first in your team, and lifesteal kind of keeps him alive so he can self-sustain, so you don't rely on a healer or a reviver. So your damage dealers will be ones getting the heal and the revive, not him. So the early beginner stages lifesteal, like I said, the recommendation right here, this is a champion that needs accuracy to land that decrease attack, so definitely you want some accuracy, 2-piece accuracy if you don't have enough accuracy from your what do you call this thing now, banner. Most people in that early game, you don't have a banner, right? So go 2-piece accuracy or 2-piece perception right here. 2-piece or 1-piece? 1-piece perception right here. So triple accuracy, triple perception, or triple speed is an early game way. This is all about early game players, and that's where this champion belongs. I love to know where end game players are using Aox though. I want to know, because I definitely have not used him anywhere else than only faction war in my end game. Although there are not a lot of legendaries that brings that decreased crit rate. Maybe the game or the raid in general, players do not value decreased crit rate debuff. Is that why nobody is using him in the end game? I don't know. We are just building our champions more tanky, and block damage. We don't care about decreasing the damage of bosses. That's why he's not being used in the end game, I think. But yeah, even in PvP content, this champion does not showcase in any of those content. I've never seen Aox the Rememberer in arena battle. Why? Because decreased attack is not just enough that you need in the arena, but that's one of his best sets right here. Speed sets, accuracy sets, and of course scroll down right here, you see your good old-fashioned perception set, which you should have a lot of by now. Where is it? Boom. So that's the 3 recommended sets for this champion. If you're gonna use him in the arena, I mean in the clan boss, you have to go with that lifesteal so he can self-sustain. Every champion right there at that stage gets lifesteal or some defiant set or something to keep them alive, right? If you have somebody placing leech, of course you always want to go with a set like this that makes him take less damage. Where is it? Stalwart set. Yes, if you have somebody placing the leech like Deacon Armstrong or other champions, so this can help him keep himself alive with his A1 and his A2, which actually hits the enemies, right? No, the A1 and the A3. The A2 does the healing. He heals himself with that A2 also. So these are the sets that I recommend this champion. You see me going crit damage right here. Do not build this champion with damage. Focus on your speed and accuracy stats. Accuracy is the first priority. Speed is the second priority before you can begin to talk of HP and defense for him to stay alive. I already have HP and defense. I already have the accuracy requirement from my banner. That's why I decided to squeeze in a little bit of crit rate and crit damage. It's not required. So that's crit damage set right here with a 4 roll into accuracy. That's a good set. And of course defense on the chest because you're using him against some dungeon stages and clan boss stages. And I went crit damage right here too because again I wanted to test out damage. You can replace these two with defense or HP on your amulet and glove. You don't have to go exactly this, because if you go crit damage right here and then you're 20k HP or 1k defense, 1.5 defense, it doesn't make sense. So make sure you meet your defense requirement and HP requirement, 2.5, 3k depending on where you're using it before you begin to pump damage. I even went attack on the ring. I told you it's a crazy build because I didn't want to see him at 60k HP and 4k defense. I didn't want to go that high. But remember, this is a beginner build. That's why I kept my HP and defenses low, and so it's somewhat relatable, I guess. And then for the banner on the accuracy, of course, everything I did had a little bit of crit rate because I wanted him to be 100% crit rate, because it's not required. He doesn't need crit to do any of his skills. I just wanted that crit rate to be paired with the crit damage. That's why I went crit rate and speed, so he can be at least goes in line with the enemies. Most enemies in level 20 and level 25 of the dungeons are around 200 speed, right? 100 speed, I think. 100 speed. Yeah, you can even lap them sometimes. I forget. But I can quickly check. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Yeah, the boss speed is 100. For Dragon 20 is 100. So that's something that he will be lapping them with the amount of speed I put in him. For total stat, I'm looking at a total stat of 210 speed. And check out this accuracy, I mean the HP right here. 45k is enough for that level 20 content or level 25 content. And of course 3k defense, 3.3k defense is enough for even clan boss. Ultra nightmare, if you want to go that high, yes, it's more than enough. And then I pumped a little bit of attack because I wanted him to do some damage. And check out my crit rate right here, 99% and 216 crit damage. No resistance required, or no resistance focused on for this build. And of course I even went above 250, 200, I mean maybe 300 accuracy for 25 content, level 25 dungeon content, but I went above a little bit because this champion is not being used in the Hydra or any other end game content that requires over 350 accuracy, so there's no need for me to even go that high. All right, for his masteries, I did try to finish the rest of his masteries, but since this is a champion I'm going to be using against like a dragon, like the clan boss, and of course the ice golem, right? He's gonna need War Master to keep himself alive with that life steal set he has, and of course help contribute a little bit to the damage. Even if you don't have him crit rate or crit damage, this is the way to do damage on this champion with the poisons he lands on his A1, right? So with that selected right here, support 3 is useful for this champion for accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. But if you have a banner, that is giving you enough accuracy, you might just ignore the support tree entirely and come towards this defense tree right here, and select this mastery right here that allows him to do some extra more A1s, right? So the more A1s, the better. It might even come down this way, deterrence. More A1s right here has a chance to counter attack when an enemy is, gets a stun or something. More chance to put that A1 down. But instead I went towards this accuracy tree because I was more concerned about this chance of increasing the chance of placing a debuff. That 5% chance increases my chance of placing that A1 poison. This is the sniper that makes that possible. This 5% is adding to that his A1 to make sure he lands not 30% poison, but now 35% chance of landing that poison on the A1. That's the only thing why that made me come towards the support tree, to be honest, because you can see my accuracy was enough. I didn't need this support tree. But hey, you can come over here, select this evil eye, decrease the tormentor of your enemies when you hit them for that first time. It's always useful in that early game content, either against the wave content or against the bosses themselves, who can have their tormentor decreased, that is. All right, that's the masteries on this champion. I don't think I have blessing on him. No, I do not. But if I wanted to select a blessing on him, it would probably be commanding presence or something that has to do with decreasing the defenses of the bosses that we are hitting. Those are the two I would recommend, depending on whether you already have champions in your team who have these two blessings or not. All right, when I get it, I'll primarily select that blessing. It's time for us to head over into that dungeon where Aox the Rememberer is built for. Could be the clan boss, could be the dungeons, but let's start with the dragon first of all. The clan boss will be much of a longer run, so let's just do dragon 20 and put the team that I set together for this team to showcase more of an early game vibe, right? I put in a reviver right here just to make things a little bit safe. It could be a rector drat, could be a reliquary tender, anybody to do a little bit of that reviving for you. Now Aox is a main healer right here, so why am I putting in a bunch of healers? I put it carry for speed boosting. I just wanted to slap in a bunch of newer, easily to obtain champions. Maybe we don't even need this champion right here, but let's just select for now because we don't want it to be a longer run. I want to get to the boss and see what Aox will do against the boss. This is the right affinity for him at level 20. Even at level 25 he can run this and it will work out fine. But let's just see him get through wave 1. Let's slow it down so we can see when he takes his skill and see which skill he starts the battle with and what he helps us do in the battle. Now I don't want to stun them yet because I want to actually take some damage from them and see him doing a little bit of his healing for us. They still got stunned. All right, if I do an auto, he will use his decreased attack and his decreased crit rate. So you're seeing the last two debuffs on these enemies, right? He plays that right after the decreased defense. You can see him with decreased attack and decreased crit rate. That means all these champions will hit you so hard. These Hordens, they hit so hard in that early game, they will just hit less. Let's just see him hit. I'm waiting for that Horden to take a skill. Come on, Horden. He also decreased their turn meter, so now they have to wait an entire turn before they take. Oh, I stunned them again. Come on, I shouldn't bring a stunner right here. It's now a cheating. It's no longer a fair fight. I wanted Horden to actually hit me so I can see how much damage he does to any of my champions. Which skill is gonna use again? He's using his A1. He's landing poisons. He did land that poison and a little bit of healing for my team also. I don't think this is a fair one. I should just take out some champions. Let me end it and come back. Let me take out some champions. It's not a fair fight. It's too broken. The only damage dealer should be that champion, and then I'll take out these two champions. Let's just run it like this. So we'll actually take some damage and rely on healing only. Alright, now it's time for Aox to show his decreased attack and decreased crit rate, right? Now let's let them take turns and try to hit me hard. With decreased attack on them, they will not do much. That's his A1 being used. 2 poisons landing right here on that champion. That A1 does work. I love it. I love to see it because the chance is 35% chance. You think it's a low chance, but it happens more often than not. Yes, do your increase accuracy and all that stuff. Now I see him having his A2 available. He keeps using his A1. I think he just used his A2 right now though. Harden, go in, hit me. He did not. He just buffed himself. Hit 8k. He did have decreased attack on him. He placed it again on them. Harden still had decreased attack. I'm waiting for Harden to hit. Is this time? Why am I still using my A1 when I should be landing more poisons on them? 9k. He did crit because he has increased crit rate. Oh, Harden also increased his crit rate. I might get hit hard though. Boom, 4k. See, he's doing red numbers because he's not critting. Harden is not critting. You have decreased crit rate on Harden, he's not critting. That's important right here. And also against the bosses, whenever you see those red numbers, you know that that champion, that enemy is not hitting their crit. The yellow numbers is what you should be afraid of. Whenever you see the yellow numbers, you know you got hit hard. So let me run over to the boss and come back when we're finally at the boss, because I want to see how much poison he can land against the boss and help us, survive. Alright, we're onto the boss, and this Harden keeps doing red numbers because I have decreased attack and decreased crit rate on him most of this battle. So sorry Harden, nobody to kill in this time. Now we're onto the boss. Let's leave it in fast speed and see what he can do. A1's 2 poisons landed, so he's helping this champion that does eat the poisons. Yes, Venomage will eat up the poison with her A1. He's helping her land more poisons. You think it's Venomage that is landing the poisons. It's him. He's actually adding right here. So you can pair him up with a Frozen Banshee, pair him up with a Venomage, or with an Awkward Brawler. The more poisons you have on bosses like this, whether it's Clan Boss, Ice Golem, or what do you call it now, Clan Boss, Ice Golem, or this dragon, it's more poisons the better. I love it. I love to see it. A1s. Maybe sometimes you don't want to tell him to even use only the A1s. I'll also show you one more content, a little bit of a snippet of one more content. Maybe Ice Golem. It works the same way though. Do we want to see one more run in the Ice Golem with same team? Definitely not Ice Golem hard, because he's an early game champion. I'll always try him in this type of early game content only. Let's select that same team, our 3-man team. Can always add more champions here to make it more secure, more faster, or anything, but I just wanted to try it out. Let me add one more champion right here because I want to test his damage, right? I did build him with 100% crit rate, so let me just test his damage just for one wave content, then I'll end it. All right, to test the damage, we'll go in there with their decrease defense and decrease defense and weaken. Don't get any ideas. And should I use the A3? This is the A3 that hits, right? It hits. No? Or should I use the A1? The A3 hits, right? Oh, it's negative affinity right here. It does not hit. So this skill does not hit. That's why he's landing it all the time. Now I'm going to use his A1 instead. He's negative affinity for this, so I can't really test his damage properly. But we'll see if he gets weak hits though when he uses the A1. Maybe the next wave has something. Let's see when he uses the A1. I'm still waiting for him to use the A1. Boost up your speed. Nope. All right, for the A1, let's see. Hit once, hit twice. 12k, 14k. I'll take it. So basically his skill, the only one that hits is A1. The others don't really do any hit. I thought that A3 actually hits. Well, my bad. Damage based on attack, but uses his only A1 to hit. I'll end this battle right here. I just wanted to showcase what this champion can do for wave content, whether you're in the dragon, ice golem, or against the boss that takes damage from poison. Aox the Rememberer can help you keep your team alive with a little bit of healing, and of course decrease the enemies crit rate and decrease their attack to you take less damage whenever he's in your team. It's an amazing, it's a good champion all around. But unfortunately, I've not seen him being used in the end game, so I wouldn't be recommending you build this champion if you've been playing Raid for more than a year or two. If you finish your faction wars, I built this champion originally for faction wars. That's why he's 60 on my account. I didn't take him to 60 today. No, he has always been 60 on my account, but I only built him for faction war, and it helped me take down this Lizardman faction, where Razin is also a champion that can help you right there. He's one of the support champions. I think his relentless set, I put him back then, but he needed a little bit of healing, so I switched to lifesteal. So lifesteal, I think, an immortal, no, or 2-piece set of perception and 1-piece set of immortal. That's what I used to beat the faction war. I have a dedicated video about that Lizardman faction. If you want to check out that video on the channel, check out that playlist of faction war. Let me know how you use this champion in the end game. I'm interested to see if whether it's just an early game champion or there are ways that we can use him in today that I'm not figuring it out right now. For now, this is what I know him being good for: dragon, ice golem, clan boss, or any content that takes damage from poison while he's helping your allies take less damage from all the hits. Maybe Hydra, early game Hydra. You can put him in the Hydra with this build. Sure, decrease their crit rate, decrease their attack. It's always useful in everywhere. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this one. Make sure you like and subscribe before you click out this video. It helps the channel grow a lot. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Comment below the next champion in Raid you want me to talk about or do a champion guide spotlight on. Later, guys.